Dr. Octavia Liliasari is a consultant pediatric cardiology and congenital heart disease division National Cardiovascular Center Harapan Kita Jakarta, a teaching staff Department of Cardiology and Vascular Medicine, Faculty of Medicine, University of Indonesia. She is a Vice Chairman, Indonesian College of Cardiology, Executive Counselor, Asia Pacific Cardiac Society, and Head of Pediatric Cardiology and Congenital Heart Disease Working Group, Indonesian Heart Association. Time is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I'm Octavia, pediatric cardiologist from National Cardiovascular Center Harapan Kita, Indonesia. First of all, I would like to thank you, the organizing committee chairman and co-chairman. It is a great honor for me to be here and share about the current strategies of double outlet right ventricle management. My presentation will include introduction, elaborate classification of double outlet right ventricle, diagnosis strategies, and illustration of the cases. As we know, double outlet right ventricle is a congenital heart defect where both carotid artery, aorta, and the pulmonary artery arise predominantly from the right ventricle. And this abnormal connection leads to mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, impairing systemic and pulmonary circulation. So when we talk about double outlet right ventricle, the crucial question arises, whether the biventricular repair is feasible. Early and accurate diagnosis is important, as anatomical variation directly determine the surgical approach. The classification of double outlet right ventricle has evolved over time, but the most practical approach remains based on three key aspects. First is the location of the VSD and its relation to the carotid artery, and the second, the spatial relationship between the aorta and pulmonary artery, and third, the presence or absence of outflow tract obstruction. Based on this principle, we recognize subaortic, subpulmonary, double committed, and remote or non-committed VSD. FUNPRA further expanded the system to include cases with atrioventricular anomaly, conotruncal malformation, and heterotaxy syndrome. This classification provides the foundation for determining the most appropriate surgical pathway for each individual patient. In double outlet right ventricle, the type of VSD is crucial because it determines both physiological and surgical strategy. Subaortic VSD direct left ventricular flow to the aorta and usually allow for the straightforward biventricular repair with an intracardiac buffer. While subpulmonary VSD or Taussig beam anomaly routes blood into the pulmonary artery, creating physiology similar to transposition. These patients often require an arterial switch. Double committed VSD lies beneath both carotid artery and can connect to either outflow, so the repair strategy depends on detailed anatomy. And remote VSD is located far from both carotid artery, making rerouting very challenging, and in some cases, only single ventricle palliation is possible. The relationship between the carotid artery is another crucial anatomy variable. We can encounter the normal arrangement, a side-bias configuration, dextro position, or levo position. Each of these orientation carries specific physiology and surgical implication. For example, in abnormal carotid artery relationship may complicate the rerouting intracardiac buffer or influence the choice between biventricular versus univentricular repair strategies. Careful delineation with echocardiography, CT, or cardiac MRI is indispensable to surgical planning. The four main anatomical types of conus arteriosus, subpulmonary, subaortic, bilateral, or absent or very deficient, the conus arteriosus or infundibulum is a key anatomical structure that influences how the carotid artery connects to the ventricle. We describe four main types. First is subpulmonary, subaortic, bilateral, and deficient or absent conus. Each arrangement alters the relationship between the ventricular septal defect and the outflow tract, which in turn impacts the direction of blood flow and the surgical feasibility of certain repair. In terms of diagnosis strategy, the ECG is not specific for double outlet right ventricle, but it provides supportive clues. Common findings include right ventricle hypertrophy, atrial enlargement, and in some cases, left axis deviation, especially when associated with FASD. While ECG alone cannot diagnose double outlet right ventricle, it contributes to the overall assessment, particularly when correlated with imaging finding. How about the chest X-ray? Chest X-ray findings in double outlet right ventricle are also non-specific, but they can support clinical suspicion. Typically, we may see cardiomegaly and pulmonary vascular changes depending on associated shunt physiology. While not diagnosis, chest X-ray remain useful in the clinical correlation and overall evaluation of the patient. Current diagnostic strategy for double outlet right ventricle primarily involve imaging technique to assess heart structure and blood flow. In general, the role imaging in performing comprehensive evaluation in congenital heart disease include determining the anatomy and morphological disorder, measure the volume, function, and mass, perform 3D volume reconstruction, viability study, hemodynamic evaluation, calculate flow quantification, and tissue characterization. In evaluating double outlet right ventricle, 2D echocardiography is always our first line investigation. Echo provides an accurate delineation of the intracardiac anatomy and allows us to divine the location of the VSD relative to the semilunar valve. And the echocardiography can also reveal the degree to which the aorta is committed to and overriding the VSD and ensure that the alveolar valve chordal attachment do not straddle the VSD. It assesses the relationship between the great artery. Echocardiography can also clarify the anatomy of subaortic subpulmonary conus, which is important for planning surgical connection. Furthermore, it can help identify the aortic origin of the coronary artery and any additional abnormalities, and allow for the assessment of the associated hemodynamic. Artifacts created by previous chest surgery may also contribute the pure acoustic window, and additionally, accurate evaluation of artery size and function is often not possible. In double outlet right ventricle strategy, it is fundamental to clearly define the potential baffle pathway from the VSD to the semilunar valve to determine the suitable for the biventricular repair. Transthoracic 3D echocardiography allows the generation of unconventional imaging planes to assess the anatomical characteristics of VSD and other substrates for potential interventricular buffer, which are impossible to obtain by two-dimensional echocardiography. Cardiac CT scanning, particularly CT angiography, provides rapid, high-resolution visualization of the anatomy of the great vessel, aortic arch, and coronary artery. This is crucial for determining surgical strategy in patients with double outlet right ventricle, and computed tomography stands as a powerful diagnostic instrument for both pre- and post-operative evaluation of double outlet right ventricles. It offers certain advantages over echocardiography and MRI, such as the absence of limitation related to the small acoustic window or the need for anesthesia, and can also be applied to a patient with metallic implant. With the current generation of CT scanner providing high spatial temporal resolution detector, high-pitch scanning mode, dose reduction algorithm, and advanced 3D post-processing tools. CT also can serve as a safer and high-quality alternative to diagnosis cardiac catheterization or cardiac MRI. And CT has seen increasing use in the diagnosis and management of virtually every form of congenital heart disease, but this is particularly useful in double outlet right ventricle. 3D dimension display and printing of CT reconstruction can assist the detailed analysis of the ventricle connection and the pathway from each ventricle to arterial trunk. Cardiac MRI has been used to elucidate the anatomical details of double outlet right ventricle with VSD, including the relationship of the ventricle to the great artery, outflow tract, and extracardiac abnormalities. This modality is very useful for surgical planning, especially when the anatomical is complex without restricted access. Cardiac MRI can provide detailed 3D anatomical images with free ionizing radiation and has superiority in calculating flow, volume, function, and determinant tissue characterization. Cardiac MRI is limited in evaluating cardiac anatomy detail due to low spatial resolution, and length examination is disadvantageous, especially in young pediatric patients requiring sedation or general anesthesia, and relatively contraindication in patients with steel implant and claustrophobia. Cardiac catheterization is rarely used as a primary diagnostic modality in cases of double outlet right ventricle, but it remains useful when echocardiography results are inconclusive or additional information is needed before surgery. This examination can provide data on pressure, oxygen saturation, defect size, detailed angiographic images of great vessel. Currently, its role is more of a supplement to surgical planning. May be used to assess pulmonary vascular resistance or pulmonary hypertension, especially in older patients, and to determine operability. It also assists with interventional or surgical planning. Bedside itself can be useful to evaluate coronary artery and measure flow and pressure. Some weakness of cardiac catheterization procedure are invasive, radiation exposure, and still need to use contrast agent. 3D modeling, 3D printing, and 3D virtual will be more widely applied in double outlet right ventricle patients with further improvement of imaging, post-processing, and printing technology. It allows a better appreciation of the relationship between the great vessel, valve, and ventricular septal defect. It also offers a realistic preoperative view at patient scale and enhance the evaluation of outflow tract obstruction. Next, I will share some case illustration and the modality imaging that been used to plan the intervention. These images demonstrate a fetal echocardiography finding in pregnant woman, 26-week gestation, who was referred by obstetrician with the suspicion of fetal heart defect. So you can see from the fourth chamber and outflow view, the location of VSD, the relation between aorta and pulmonary artery, colored Doppler flow pattern, and there is a muscular VSD here, and the aorta is located anteriorly to the pulmonary artery, and the pulmonary artery caliber appears smaller than aorta, indicating the pulmonary stenosis. So we diagnosed the fetal with double outlet right ventricle, inlet VSD, malpose of the great artery, and pulmonary stenosis. Early prenatal diagnosis will enable doctors to provide education, prepare parents mentally, as well as planning the necessary treatment immediately after birth. Next case is a girl, 1.5 years old with cyanotic. The echocardiography show double outlet right ventricle, subaortic VSD with pulmonary stenosis that also confirmed by cardiac CT examination. Since the McCune ratio is above 1.5, then biventricular repair can be performed. And patient was then sent to the surgery to have a double outlet right ventricle repair and pulmonary stenosis resection. Next is a baby girl, 3 months old, with double outlet right ventricle, subpulmonic VSD, malposition of the great artery without pulmonary stenosis. Cardiac CT confirmed the VSD located beneath the pulmonary of the great artery without pulmonary stenosis. And we also found the hypoplastic of isthmus with stenosis at the left bronchi due to compression of the main pulmonary artery. Then patient is planning to be performed arterial switch operation, coarctation repair, and treatment of pulmonary hypertension. Next is a man, 34 years old with cyanotic and easily fatigued and saturation about 80%. Echocardiography found double outlet right ventricle, subatrial double comminuted VSD, and with severe valvular pulmonary stenosis. Cardiac MRI revealed the location of the VSD beneath both the aorta and pulmonary valve, and the 4D flow also confirmed the RVOT obstruction. A baby boy, 3 months old, with the situs ambiguous left atrial isomerism, double outlet right ventricle, complete AVSD, malpose, great artery, and intracardiac TIPVC without pulmonary stenosis. So the cardiac CT examination confirmed the diagnosis and also showed the TFBVD into the atrium, and the left there is a stenosis at the left bronchus due to compression of the descending aorta and dilated pulmonary artery and pulmonary valve. Then the patient was planned to have a univentricular repair. Next is a man, 14 years old, with cyanotic and suspected of complex congenital heart disease, and echocardiography examination reveals cytosolitis double outlet right ventricle, inlet VSD, and valvular pulmonary stenosis. Cardiac MRI confirmed the diagnosis and add some more information regarding the ventricular function and morphology of mitral valve. Then patient was performed pulsatile VCPS, atrial septectomy, and PD ligation. Last case, a boy, 6 years old with cyanotic heart disease, dyspnea and cardiomegaly with suspected complex congenital heart disease. The echocardiography examination revealed right atrial isomerism, mitral atresia, double outlet right ventricle, inlet VSD, secundum ASD, malpose great artery with valvar and subvalvar pulmonary stenosis. And cardiac CT examination confirm the diagnosis and give additional information in terms of smallish RPA due to compression from ascending aorta and aortic arch. Patient is planning to be performed univentricular repair with RBT shunt and preparation of proximal RPA as a bridging procedure. So as a take-home message, echocardiography is the primary tool for diagnosis double outlet right ventricle. Transthoracic 3D dimensional echocardiography has superiority to assess VSD and obstruction. Fetal echocardiography plays a crucial role in prenatal diagnosis, and cardiac MRI, cardiac CT offer detailed anatomy helpful for surgical planning, while cardiac catheterization is used selectively to evaluate hemodynamic and assess operability. Both 3D printing and 3D virtual have additional value for cardiac surgeon and cardiologists over 2D imaging because the better visualization of spatial relationship. And furthermore, the 3D print models can also be used for rehearsal on the intended procedure before the actual surgery on the patient, so that the procedure is precisely predicted and procedure can be optimally tailored for the patient-specific anatomy. And the use of multimodality approach improve diagnosis accuracy in double outlet right ventricle. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Octavia.